I'm Lacy Page, and today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite dishes. It's called dirty rice. It's very easy. You can make it in less than an hour, so for working families, and it is all natural ingredients, so it's nothing from a box. So right here I have 2 chicken breasts. You can use as many or as less as you like. I have cubed it, as you can see, and I'm going to cover it with this Cajun seasoning. You can get Cajun seasoning in the spice aisle. I got this from Kroger. I just coat the chicken until it is nice and coated. It gives it a nice Cajun flavor. Have that there, and then I also have my rice boiling. So my rice is boiling, and I've got 4 cups in there, and I just followed the package directions. 6 cups of water, 4 cups of rice. I'm going to let that get to a raging boil, and then I'm going to cover it and turn it down to a simmer. I added 3 tablespoons of butter too, because butter makes everything delicious. There is no recipe for this. This is just all things that I have thrown together to make this recipe. I had originally had a dirty rice recipe, and I've kind of changed it over the years to make it something delicious my family and I can enjoy. So as this is cooking and as my rice is cooking, I'm going to get my pot hot, and I'm going to add just a little teensy bit of olive oil to this, and I'm going to dump my chicken in. Usually I do this in stages. I start the rice, I chop up my meat, I chop up my veggies, because in this is the holy trinity of Cajun cooking, and that is bell pepper, onion, and celery. And I always pick my onion based on how spicy it is, because I like this dish very spicy, but you can add as little or as much seasoning as you want. Again, I like to keep this handy because then I make sure I get this all coated. And then I'm also going to add a log of country sausage. I get the hot kind. It depends on what kind of butcher you have. I used to be able to get this at the butcher I went to, but I just got this in the sausage section of the grocery store. Put it all in there, and you cook that with your chicken. Just get it all in there, deliciously cooking together. And you can use regular country sausage, or oh, we have a side dish of peas going with this. Oh, this will make a nice side dish for your Thanksgiving meal. We eat it as our own meal, but it makes a nice spicy side if you like spicy dishes. So I'm going to cook all of my chicken together with my sausage, and you're going to cook this until you see no pink. So as you can see, I'm constantly stirring it, chopping up my sausage so it'll be in little bits, and adding just a little bit more Cajun seasoning. Again, it's to taste. And then while that's cooking, I usually chop up my veggies. I've already pre-done that, but you want to chop up a whole bell pepper, a whole onion. I used a white onion because it's spicier, and about 2 to 3 stalks of celery. You can add as much or as little veggies as you want, but it really makes this dish delicious. I'm going to get this down to a simmer. Great thing about the spoon is that it doubles for both things. Get that down to a simmer and cover this. And that's going to sit like that for 15 minutes. Usually I judge it by a timer or whether or not all of my other dishes are coming together. So while my meat is cooking and I'm continuing to stir it, turn that down just a tad. You don't want to cook the meat too fast. You want to kind of cook it slow and good. As you can see, my chicken's already starting to whiten up. I've got some fresh parsley.
There's also one thing you haven't tried.
That I am going to start chopping up, because once my rice is cooked, you add parsley. You can use dried parsley. It doesn't make that much of a difference, but you can kind of taste the grit of the dried parsley, so I prefer to use fresh because I don't like to be able, I like my veggies soft in this. I don't want to have any crunch, but again, it is all to your palate and your taste. You don't have to use the hot country sausage. I do, and I just don't tell my kids that it is spicy, and they enjoy it just as much as the adults do. So if you want something that's gonna knock the socks off Grandma at Thanksgiving, this is the dish for you. Start over here and wash this off. Again, I don't like to use the same cutting board that my meat's been on because I think that that's, yeah. As you can see, I don't do measurements. I just do it all to kind of feel. I'm just going to chop this up into like little bits. Little bits on this little thing. You can even rip it apart. Had a little bit of a meltdown on the rice. Stir my meat and get that all nice and delicious. This while your meat's cooking, and it'll keep in your it'll keep the liquid. I'm gonna go back to my parsley. So it's all ready once my rice is ready. That parsley will go in, and you'll mix that in with the rice once that is done. So that is dirty rice. Welcome back to dirty rice. As you can see, my chicken and my sausage is all cooked nicely together. I don't see anything in my chicken. Usually I chop up my chicken, even though I chopped it before. I like small chunks in this, so if you can make sure that it's all cooked, and you can get your spoon or spatula to chop it up as you're cooking it. Now to this I'm going to add, as I said, my holy trinity of Cajun cooking. It's already pre-chopped. It's my onions, my celery, and my bell pepper. I try to chop it very fine. I like this to get really tender, so the veggies give their flavor, but you don't necessarily get that crunch, but that's just me. I'm going to mix all of that together. And I'm going to cover this with a lid. And I'm going to reduce my temperature on my stovetop and let that just kind of cook and let all of those flavors combined and make a really delicious, flavorful meat veggie combination. As you can see, I don't even bother switching spoons between this and my rice, but my rice is already cooked. So to this, I'm going to add my parsley that I so cheaply chopped up over here. I'm just going to break it up by hand. Again, I do this to feel more than anything. You can chop it up really finely, but you want to do this right after the rice has cooked. So the finer the chop, the better it does. But it doesn't need, it's about a cup, and I have way more than that right here. So put that in. And you just stir that all together. And again, you can do a dried parsley, but it's not going to be as flavorful, and you're going to be able to taste it. I'm going to add just a little bit more of this, just to get it to where I want it to look. Originally, dirty rice was called dirty rice because people used chicken livers in it. We are not doing that today. As I said, I've kind of made this recipe my own with chicken breast instead of chicken livers. So there. I've turned my heat off on this rice because I don't want it to overcook. I'm going to put the lid back on it and let that kind of sit there and let my meat cook, and we should have dirty rice in about 10 more minutes. Okay, well, welcome back. This has been kind of cooking on low for about 10-15 minutes with those veggies added to it. As you can see, there is a nice bit of liquid in this, so that's kind of how you know. And if you know that your veggies are tender, then that's pretty much ready to go. So, I'm going to put this over, mix this all with one big good stir. As you can see, all the chicken is all cooked, all the sausage is cooked, and all those veggies have cooked down and are delicious. And so with our rice that I had covered but turned off, you can still see it is warm. I'm going to just take all of this, sorry, joys of cooking with children, and dump it into my rice. Get back, sweetie, it's really hot.
But I like dirty rice.
Every last bit of yummy in there. Put this down, shut off my thing, and then you just mix it all together. With the rice, all of the veggies, all of the sausage is all cooked to perfection. And that juice just adds to that rice. Again, if you are in the Kokomo area and they still have the We Care store, you should stop by and get you one of these handy dandy kitchen tools, because it is phenomenal for making big meals like this. I actually have two at my house. And then once that is all stirred together, all that juice is incorporated, there you have dirty rice. I always serve this with soy sauce. You can certainly serve it with Louisiana hot sauce or Tabasco if you want to keep the Cajun theme. It tastes really good with soy sauce though, and it kind of brings out the flavors and gives it even more of a flavor. So I wish you the best of luck, and if you are ambitious enough to try out dirty rice, you certainly can message me and I will give you the written down recipe for this. As you've seen, I kind of just throw things together, but I can certainly write down a recipe if you are wanting to try this for your Thanksgiving meal. Thank you and happy cooking, and hopefully you make it and knock Grandma's socks off. Have a great day.